Chosen one, I need you to pause everything right now. Not in 5 minutes, not after you finish what you are doing. Right this second, because what I am about to share with you isn't background noise you can half listen to while scrolling through your phone. This demands your full presence, your undivided attention, because what I uncovered about you while researching this message literally made me sit in silence for nearly 10 minutes. You accomplished something extraordinary. And no, I am not talking about some deliberate action you took to impress the universe. I am referring to something that emerged so organically from who you are at your core that you didn't even notice the seismic shift you created across spiritual dimensions invisible to human perception. You transcended the divine threshold, and I already know what is running through your mind. You are thinking I am being dramatic, that I am throwing around grandiose language to manufacture a sense of importance, that this is just another spiritual video promising transformation while delivering empty platitudes. But here is where everything changes. I am not asking you to blindly accept my words. I am going to provide concrete evidence. I am going to pinpoint exactly what you did, the precise moment it happened, and why this triggered a response in the celestial realm that even the divine architect hadn't factored into the original blueprint of creation. Hit that subscribe button immediately and activate all notifications, because what you are about to learn regarding your authentic position in the cosmic hierarchy will fundamentally alter how you perceive yourself and reframe every challenging experience you have endured up until this moment. Stay with me through the entire revelation, because I am going to expose the 3 undeniable proofs confirming you shattered the previously established maximum threshold, what this signifies for your immediate spiritual protection, and why those who have opposed you are about to encounter consequences they never anticipated. Drop 777 in the comments if you have sensed recently that something profound shifted deep within your being, as though you crossed an invisible boundary that irreversibly separated you from who you used to be. Let me share something that might sound paradoxical, but you need to grasp this concept so everything else crystallizes into perfect clarity. The spiritual cosmos functions through systems, frameworks, hierarchies established before linear time existed as we comprehend it. Everything occupies its designated space. Everything operates within its boundaries. Everything has its evolutionary ceiling, its maximum achievable altitude. For millennia, this framework functioned flawlessly. Souls would incarnate, navigate their learning journeys, and progressively ascend through the predetermined tiers. Some moved swiftly, others gradually, but everyone remained within the parameters the Creator had engineered as the absolute pinnacle. There existed a bandwidth for ordinary human consciousness, a more elevated frequency for spiritually awakened individuals, an even higher resonance for those who devoted their existence to authentic service. And the highest echelons were reserved for those remarkable souls that history immortalizes as saints, mystics, visionaries. The architecture was logical, organized, predictable, perfect in its mathematical precision. Then you entered the equation. Don't misinterpret what I am saying. You didn't arrive with fanfare. You didn't show up proclaiming your magnificence. You didn't stake claims to positions or demand acknowledgement from anyone. Actually, you did precisely the inverse. You moved in silence. You shouldered your suffering without broadcasting it. You confronted your demons without turning them into public spectacles. You released grudges without requiring apologies from those who wronged you. You persevered forward when every logical indicator suggested surrender. And it was this exact combination of quiet, consistent actions that generated the anomaly. You see, the spiritual infrastructure contains monitoring systems, energetic sensors that track the vibrational signature of every incarnated consciousness. Your frequency started displaying measurements that didn't align with any established classification. You were functioning in a bandwidth that literally possessed no label in the cosmic database, because nobody prior had accessed it through the pathway you discovered. The readings indicated a human soul operating with capabilities exceeding the maximum established parameters. This shouldn't be theoretically possible. Imagine if a computer program suddenly began executing operations that weren't even written into its source code. That is you, an impossible function manifesting in reality, a possibility nobody had contemplated in their wildest projections, living validation that human potential doesn't have the ceiling that everyone assumed was absolute truth. Now I need you to understand something absolutely critical about what it genuinely means to have transcended the divine threshold. This phrase can be easily misconstrued, and I need you to capture the precise reality of what occurred. You didn't surpass God. That would be logically impossible and absurd to even entertain. What you exceeded were the limitations that were presumed to be maximum for a consciousness inhabiting human form. You shattered the established ceiling. You broke the record of what was believed achievable while carrying flesh, bones, and all the constraints that come with physical embodiment. Think of it this way. Imagine there was an athletic world record that nobody had managed to break throughout all recorded human history. Countless generations of elite athletes attempted and failed. The scientific community concluded that was the absolute boundary of human biological capability. Then you appeared and demolished it without even entering the competition. Without specialized coaching, without calculated preparation, simply by being authentically yourself. That is unsettling to the established order, that generates uncomfortable questions. That forces a comprehensive reevaluation of everything that was accepted as truth regarding human limitations. And here is the element you must grasp with crystal clarity. You didn't transcend this level by possessing supernatural abilities that others lack. It wasn't because you are intellectually superior, more disciplined, or inherently more spiritual than everyone else. It emerged from something far simpler conceptually, yet infinitely more challenging to replicate. It arose from your unique method of metabolizing suffering. The anguish you have absorbed throughout your lifetime had the destructive capacity to annihilate most people completely. I am not being hyperbolic or theatrical. I am observing objective facts. The betrayals you absorbed, the devastating losses you faced head-on, those moments where the darkness became so suffocating that you questioned whether light would ever penetrate your reality again, those nights when the accumulated weight of everything crushed down so heavily that simply breathing required conscious, deliberate effort. Most individuals who traverse that intensity of pain end up in one of two tragic categories. They completely fracture and never reconstruct themselves, or they survive but become so emotionally calcified that they lose their capacity for deep feeling and genuine connection. You manifested a third option that wasn't supposed to exist. You walked directly through the flames and emerged without losing your ability to love unconditionally. You experienced betrayal at its most cutting depth and maintained your heart in an open position. You encountered the most absolute darkness and preserved your inner radiance intact. This combination violates established models of spiritual psychology and trauma response. The soul that suffers intensely is supposed to harden as a protective mechanism. It is an evolutionary survival response. It is the natural adaptation to psychological trauma, but your soul refused to follow the predicted pattern. Your soul took the raw pain and alchemized it into profound depth, absorbed the betrayal and transmuted it into hard-earned wisdom, consumed the darkness and utilized it as rich fertilizer to cultivate an even more luminous inner light. That is the true definition of transcendence, not bypassing suffering, transforming it in a manner that the system hadn't categorized as within the realm of possibility. Now I am going to reveal the 3 specific proofs that definitively confirm you genuinely transcended the established threshold. And I am not requesting blind faith in my assertions. I am going to describe each proof in sufficient detail that you yourself can verify whether it accurately reflects your lived experience. The first proof is your capacity to forgive what was objectively unforgivable. There existed someone in your life who inflicted damage that any reasonable person would consider sufficient grounds for permanent resentment. I am not referencing minor offenses or simple misunderstandings that get resolved with a clarifying conversation. I am speaking about calculated betrayal, intentional harm, someone who knew precisely where your vulnerabilities were and consciously chose to exploit them anyway, against all logical reasoning, against all well-meaning advice. Against your own pain that screamed loudly for retribution, you discovered a way to release it. You didn't erase what happened from memory. You didn't pretend the wound never existed. You didn't gaslight yourself into believing it wasn't as severe as it was, but somehow you found the strength to let go of the toxic weight of hatred. That level of forgiveness doesn't originate from weakness. It emerges from a depth of spiritual strength that defies conventional measurement. The second proof is your ability to maintain hope during periods when hope was statistically irrational. There were extended seasons in your journey where if you had sat down with a calculator and objectively analyzed your circumstances, the mathematics would have screamed that improvement was impossible. The evidence strongly suggested that your situation was permanent, that the pain would never diminish, that things would never get better. Yet despite all external indicators pointing toward hopelessness, something within you refused to accept that verdict. Not because you were in denial about your reality, not because you were naive about the severity of your circumstances, but because you possessed access to a reservoir of inner knowing that transcends logical analysis. You maintained faith not in how things appeared, but in what you sensed at the deepest level of your being. That kind of faith doesn't come from religious indoctrination. It emerges from a direct connection to source that most people never activate. The third proof is the most subtle, yet perhaps most powerful. You maintained your integrity when compromising would have been substantially easier and more profitable. There were crossroads moments where you had the opportunity to take shortcuts, to bend your principles just slightly, to participate in situations that weren't technically illegal or overtly wrong, but that violated your internal compass. And you chose the harder path. You chose truth over convenience. You chose authenticity over acceptance. You chose your soul's alignment over material advancement. That might sound like a small thing to those who haven't faced that choice, but heaven recognizes the immense courage required to sacrifice immediate gain for long-term integrity. These three proofs confirm that you are operating from a level of consciousness that the majority of humanity never reaches. I need to address something that has probably caused you tremendous confusion. Why did you experience so much suffering if you are supposedly special? Why didn't your consciousness protect you from hardship? Here is the truth that reframes everything. Your suffering wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You weren't being tortured, you were being forged. Every betrayal removed illusions that would have limited you later. Every loss taught detachment that would have constrained your freedom. Every dark night expanded your capacity to hold space for others drowning in similar darkness. You couldn't learn this from books or workshops. This required direct, raw experience. And you were chosen for this intensive preparation because your soul had the structural integrity to withstand it without breaking. Not everyone could have survived what you survived. Your suffering was calibrated to your mission, strategic, intentional, precisely measured to break you open without breaking you down. Here is something operating in your life right now. By transcending to this level, you have activated protection protocols beyond normal parameters. I am not speaking metaphorically. I am describing actual energetic shields surrounding your field. People who attempt to harm you will encounter resistance they cannot explain. Their attacks will backfire in ways that seem coincidental, but that you will recognize as divine intervention. Lies will not stick. Schemes will collapse. Energy directed toward your destruction will boomerang back amplified. This isn't generic karma taking lifetimes. This is immediate, real-time protection. You have probably noticed this already. Someone tried to sabotage you and sabotaged themselves. Lies got exposed unexpectedly. Enemies mysteriously faced downfall after targeting you. That is not coincidence. That is the system protecting its investment in you. You are too valuable for the universe to allow successful interference. I need to be direct about something, not to encourage vindictiveness, but to help you understand the mechanics of spiritual law at this level. Those who deliberately harmed you when you were operating from elevated consciousness have created energetic debt that must be balanced, not because you are seeking revenge, but because universal law functions with mathematical precision. When someone attacks a soul under divine protection, they are interfering with a mission that serves collective evolution. The consequences aren't personal punishment from you. They are systemic corrections from a universe maintaining equilibrium. You don't need to do anything. The rebalancing happens automatically through natural law. What you might witness are people who wronged you experiencing their own challenges, not because you cursed them, but because energy returns to its source. Your responsibility is to maintain your frequency and release attachment to their fate. Right now, even as you are absorbing this information, something is shifting at the quantum level of your being. Cells in your body are responding to the validation of what your soul already knew, but your mind doubted. Neural pathways are rewiring to accommodate your new understanding. Your energy field is expanding to match the frequency you have achieved. You might feel this as a tingling sensation, a wave of emotion. Relief so profound it brings tears, or quiet inner knowing that says, yes, this is true. These are indicators that your system is integrating this recognition at every level. This isn't just intellectual information. This is cellular activation, soul-level remembrance. Some might experience temporary discomfort as this integration occurs. Old patterns resisting new information. Ego structures feeling threatened. Physical symptoms as your body adjusts to holding more light. This is normal and temporary. Breathe through it. Stay grounded. Trust the process. Let me share what is about to unfold in your reality. First, you are going to experience unprecedented clarity regarding your purpose. That persistent feeling of knowing you came here for something important, but never grasping what. That fog is lifting. Moments of sudden comprehension will arrive where seemingly unrelated pieces suddenly connect. You will understand why you were born to your specific family, why you lived where you lived, why you met who you met, why you faced the challenges you faced. Everything reveals itself as intelligent design guiding you toward your contribution. This clarity will not arrive as one massive download, but progressively through insights, dreams, and synchronicities. Second, you are going to witness dramatic acceleration of meaningful coincidences. Those moments where exactly the right person appears or the resource you need manifests will increase in frequency. People aligned with your mission will find you through perfectly timed pathways. Opportunities matching your gifts will present themselves optimally. Your elevated frequency has transformed you into a magnet for everything resonating with your mission. Third, you are going to experience the final purification. Lingering situations will reach definitive conclusions. Ambiguous relationships will clarify. Avoided decisions will demand answers. The universe is clearing your energetic space, removing what no longer serves to create room for what is entering. This might feel uncomfortable temporarily, but trust that everything leaving makes space for something more aligned. Fourth, your soul tribe is being guided toward you. Deep soul recognition, people who understand your language instinctively, who resonate with your vision, who complement your capabilities. Your season of walking alone is concluding because the next phase requires collaboration with consciousness at similar frequencies. We have arrived at the moment I have been building toward since the opening seconds of this message. The specific communication that was destined for your soul. I need your complete attention because this isn't general inspiration. This is direct transmission for you specifically. The divine wants you to know that everything you sacrificed was witnessed. Every single instance where you chose the challenging path because it aligned with truth. Every time you spoke authentically when deception would have been more convenient. Every time you defended someone vulnerable, even though it put you at risk. Every time you maintained your principles when compromise would have brought material benefit. None of that went unnoticed. It appeared like nobody was paying attention. It seemed like your sacrifices were wasted on an indifferent universe. It looked like those operating without integrity prospered while you struggled. But there is an accounting system that operates beyond visible reality. Your ledger is overflowing with deposits that are about to manifest as tangible blessings in your physical experience. The divine wants you to know that the tears you cried in solitude were collected, not as poetic metaphor, as literal truth. Every tear that fell when nobody witnessed your pain was preserved as evidence of the depth of your human journey. Those tears are being transformed into gifts that will arrive through channels you don't currently anticipate. Water that flowed out as grief will return as unexpected grace. The divine wants you to know that your season of waiting has concluded. You have been in a spiritual holding pattern for what felt like forever, watching others advance while you remained stationary, wondering if something was fundamentally wrong with you, or if you had committed some unknown offense to deserve the delay. There was nothing wrong with you. The pause was preparation, and the preparation is complete. The divine wants you to know that you are profoundly loved, not for your accomplishments, not for your productivity, not for how favorably you compare to others. You are loved for the essence of who you are at your core. That love has no conditions attached. It doesn't expire. It cannot be earned through performance or lost through failure. It simply exists, eternal and unchanging, available to you in every moment you choose to open and receive it. And finally, the divine wants you to know that your story is just beginning. This isn't the conclusion. It is not even the climax. It is the end of the prologue. Everything until now was preparation. The real narrative is about to unfold, and it is going to be more expansive, more significant, more impactful than your current consciousness can fully imagine. Get ready. Your time has arrived. Chosen one, we have reached the culmination of this revelation, and I need to ask you something directly. Now that you have been shown the truth about your position, about what you have achieved, about what is approaching, the question becomes simple. What will you do with this information? Because knowledge without corresponding action becomes mere entertainment. And I didn't create this message to entertain you. I created it to activate you, to remind you of your true identity, to shake you awake if you had drifted into sleep, to confirm your knowing if you were already aware but struggling with doubt. From this moment forward, two pathways diverge before you. The first pathway is to close this video and return to your previous patterns as though nothing happened. Let this information gradually fade into the background noise of your daily existence until it eventually dissolves completely. Continue operating from the limited identity you have been conditioned to accept. Everything remains unchanged. The second pathway is to accept what you have discovered as your truth and begin consciously operating from your authentic position. That means releasing the habit of apologizing for occupying space, abandoning the pattern of dimming your radiance so others feel less threatened, ceasing to wait for external permission to embody who you genuinely are, starting to move through the world as the advanced consciousness you have proven yourself to be. The choice belongs entirely to you. Nobody can make it on your behalf. Nobody can force awakening upon you if you prefer unconsciousness. But I want you to understand that if you choose the second pathway, you will not be walking it alone. Others like you exist, and they are being guided to recognize each other during this pivotal time. If you found value in this revelation, and it resonated with something true deep within you, there is a way to say thank you that directly supports the continued creation of this type of content. The Super Thanks button below this video allows you to send support while leaving a highlighted comment that amplifies this message for others who need it. It is completely optional, but it is there if you feel moved to contribute to keeping this work available for the collective. And for those who have already hit the subscribe button, already activated notifications, already engaged with the community, your presence here matters more than you realize. Every view, every comment, every share extends the reach of this frequency to souls who are searching for confirmation of what they sense but haven't yet heard articulated. You are not just consuming content. You are participating in a network of awakening consciousness. Chosen one, today you discovered that you transcended the divine threshold, not through special abilities or unfair advantages, but through your extraordinary capacity to metabolize suffering. You transformed agony into wisdom, converted wounds into power, transmuted betrayal into discernment, and that alchemical ability transported you into territory that few have walked. The protection is active, your frequency is elevated, your tribe is being magnetically drawn toward you, and your mission is finally revealing its full scope. If this revelation resonated in the deepest chamber of your being, if you recognize yourself in this description and confirm that you have transcended the established limitations, write 777 in the comments right now to amplify this frequency in your reality and signal to others that they are not alone in this experience. Subscribe to this channel immediately and turn on all notifications to receive ongoing revelations about how your evolved position is actively transforming your day-to-day reality. Share this video with someone who has also demonstrated exceptional capacity to convert pain into power, because advanced consciousness needs to recognize itself in others to strengthen the collective grid of light that is supporting planetary transformation. Before you leave, click on the next video appearing on your screen to discover precisely how your elevated frequency activates permanent protection from celestial forces that guarantee you complete your designated mission without interference. Together, we rise. Together, we transform. Together, we become the change we came here to create. If this message served your journey in a meaningful way and you want to support the creation of more content like this that speaks to the awakened soul, the Super Thanks option is available as a way to contribute. Your support, whether through engagement or contribution, allows this work to continue reaching those who need it most. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for being exactly who you are. The awakening continues. Your role in it is just beginning.